All right, everybody, welcome back to Gonzo, Mike, and a VCR. I'm Gonzo,
I'm Mike.
and we're gonna look at another movie today, Mike. We discussed some of the best and worst from the 80s, 90s, and apparently beyond now, because you'll hear at the end of this episode, we're going way further than the 90s. So we're gonna give you our take, make a recommendation. We'll give each movie a rating. That's how you're gonna do. Are you ready to get started there, Mike?
I am. Let's do this.
All right, all right. So first off, we've got a guest here. It's a super fan of this movie. Today's movie is After Hours. His name is JB. He's a friend of mine, and he's JB from Salt for Slugs Magazine. So introduce yourself, JB, first, and tell us how you came to be a super fan of After Hours, man.
It's funny. I worked in that video store when we were in high school. So I think it was maybe the end of senior year it came out on video. And
Was
I knew
it
it had the bad
Errol's?
brain. I knew it had the bad brains in it.
Okay, there's the connection. Wait, did you work at Errol's?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh
Errol's.
man, yeah. Did you have Errol's, Mike?
Oh, we did not. No, I worked in a little video store too, but we were like an independent, just a little video store.
Well, like with the guy
Blue
with the
Ridge Video.
Blue Ridge Video goes
Yeah,
perfect with the gray hair and the big long beard, right?
that's it.
So, all right. We're glad to have you on board, JB. But I want to hear a little bit about Salt for Slugs magazine. What's this about, man?
Well, it's first of all, it's great to be on. Started the magazine a long time ago. God, it's been 25 years, something like that. We started in Austin. And then when I ended up moving to North Carolina, we did a few issues here back in early 2000s. And then we started doing them again a few years ago before COVID. It's just a pop culture magazine. It started out as a zine and just kind of grew. It got bigger and bigger. So it turned into kind of a magazine, basically. It was quarterly. Now it's like kind of annually, if we can. Everyone's so busy and
Yeah.
everyone's so spread out too. So, but yeah, I love being on the show. This is great.
Yeah. Now you call me old fashioned, man. Like I said, I came of age in the 80s like the rest of us. So when you're talking about a magazine now, is it all basically online?
No, we do print issues.
Oh, really cool. That's cool because
Yeah.
a lot of places don't do that anymore, I think, right? So,
Well, it's funny. We were one of the first like real websites back in the day. We had softforslugs.com, but after years and years, we weren't keeping it up, and we ended up letting it go, and some guy bought it. So then we had saltforslugs.net for a while, but now we do it on social media, but we do a print issue. Yeah.
okay, cool, cool. So people can look you up on social media then.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're on Facebook.
All right, very cool, very cool. So, all right. So we're ready to get started. Is everyone's cell phone silenced?
It is.
Mine's good to
Yes.
go. All right, we're good. We're good. So this episode, we're looking at 1985 black comedy film directed by Martin Scorsese. And this is the first movie, I think, Mike, that we've done with him. Written by Joseph Minion and starring Griffin Dunne. This movie is After Hours. Now, it grossed 10.6 million at the box office against a budget of 4.5 million. So not a real big film, but it won some awards, man. The film won Independent Spirit Award for Best Feature, and Scorsese won the Cannes Film Festival Award for Best Director and the Independent Spirit Award for Best Director. This is unheard of. Roger Ebert, Mike, can you believe this? Gave it 4 out of 4 stars.
You can't beat that.
You can't beat that. You can't beat that.
Yep.
And it's praised. He praised it as one of the year's best back in '85 there, and the film is now regarded as a cult classic. This thing, I was sort of surprised. 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, man, for something that I've never heard of. Come on, I had never seen this, but for those who haven't seen it, or those who haven't seen it in a while, Mike, we're going to have you explain the plot as quickly as you can there, and we'll let JB clean up anything that you might miss out there. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. And just before I get started, we've never done this before, but I don't think the marketing for this movie was great. So if you've never seen this before, I would say go ahead and pause the podcast, go watch it because we're going to get into it. But a big part of this movie, the fun of it is the journey that you go on. So again, come back to us if you haven't seen it, definitely. But if you have seen it, here we go. The plot, After Hours, starts off with a scene showing a New York computer tech, Paul Hackett, played by Griffin Dunne, talking to his coworker, played by Bronson Pinchot, Balky, for those of you that can remember Perfect Stranger. And this is the first time and the last time that we see Balky, by the way. So anyway, later that evening, Paul's reading a book at a cafe and strikes up a conversation with an attractive lady, Marcy Franklin, played by Rosanna Arquette. Paul is intrigued by the quirky Marcy, whose roommate, sculptor Kiki Bridges, makes and sells plaster of Paris paperweights, so he takes Marcy's phone number. Later, Paul takes a taxi to her Soho apartment, but his only $20 bill flies out of the taxi window, leaving him with no money and a pissed off cab driver. So when he finally gets to the apartment, Marcy's roommate Kiki, played by Linda Fiorentino, we'll remember from Vision Quest,
Yeah.
is working on a large paper mache sculpture of a screaming man while Marcy's out. When Marcy returns, her erratic behavior and Paul's discovery of burn cream and graphic photos convince him she must be severely disfigured under her clothing, and she's already acting pretty unstable. So unnerved, he abandons the date. He tries to take the subway home. Then he learns the fares jumped at midnight, so he can't afford to pay. He's got a few coins in his pocket. Paul then goes to a bar tended by Tom, played by John Hurt, who lends Paul his apartment key to retrieve the key for the bar's cash register, which he's been unable to open. But when Paul goes up there, he floods Tom's bathroom and is nearly lynched by the other residents who've been looking for a burglar who's been robbing people in the neighborhood recently. On the street, Paul confronts two thieves, Pepe and Neil, none other than Cheech and Chong back from the 80s, hauling away Kiki's sculpture, and then he chases them off. So he returns the sculpture to the apartment, but then he discovers Marcy has committed suicide by ODing on a bottle of pills. Her body shows no burns, and that disproves Paul's earlier theory about her. So on the way out, Paul grabs a note from Kiki inviting him and Marcy to Club Berlin. Before he leaves the apartment, Paul calls the cops to report the death, posts notes in the apartment with arrows and the words dead body leading to Marcy's room. On his way to Club Berlin, Paul runs into the bar's waitress, Julie, played by Terry Garr, who brings him up to the apartment and comes on to him. But then Paul blows Julie off. She brands him as the neighborhood burglar via homemade wanted posters from a sketch she did of him earlier in the apartment. Paul's denied entry into Club Berlin because it's Mohawk night, of course, and he doesn't have a mohawk. So he finally gets into the club, but then punks chase him with clippers trying to give him a mohawk, and they only get a chunk of his hair. Shortly afterwards, after escaping the club, Paul pulls a $20 bill from one of Kiki's sculptures, and he encounters the original taxi driver who takes the 20, but then drives off, leaving him still stranded. After that, Paul then meets Mr. Softy ice cream truck driver named Gail, played by Catherine O'Hara, who initially offers to help Paul, but later joins the mob in hunting him after seeing Julie's posters. On the run, Paul approaches a dude on the street for help, but his pleas mistaken for a sexual advance. So then Paul calls the police from the guy's apartment, but then he's ignored by the cops, having a great night. So Paul leaves the guy's apartment, ducks into the now empty Club Berlin. Exhausted, looking like hell, Paul drops his last quarter into the jukebox for Peggy Lee's Is That All There Is, and dances with June, played by Verna Bloom, who's an older sculptor living beneath the club. June hides Paul from the mob by covering him in paper mache, disguising him as a sculpture resembling Kiki's Screaming Man. But then the plaster hardens and Paul can no longer escape or move. So the two thieves, Pepe and Neil, break in, mistake Paul for the sculpture they dropped earlier, and haul him away in their van. During a sharp turn uptown, the rear doors of the van swing open. Paul tumbles out, smashing onto the pavement directly in front of his midtown office building just before dawn. The impact shatters the plaster. Dazed, Paul staggers inside, sits at his desk, and stares at the computer terminal as it boots up to greet him for another day of work. Now, this is the first time, like we said, that either Steve or I have ever seen After Hours. I'm sure I've left out, mixed up some key points in there somewhere. JB, what did I miss?
It's really hard to recap this movie,
Oh, yeah.
like you just did. That was awesome. Well, first of all, this movie all takes place in one night, which is just fantastic. And it starts and ends in the same exact place. It's a real character study, right? I like how, his whole intention to go out was to meet Rosanna Arquette, right? But then he ends up meeting a string of women that he kind of gets involved with. And as you see in the movie, the women get older as the movie goes on. He ends up in the end with the really older lady in the basement of Club Berlin.
That's awesome. I did not catch that until you just said that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to this movie. A lot of crossovers with actors in other movies, like John Hurd. I just watched Chud recently, and he's the star of Chud, which is, I don't know if you guys should do that one, but it was really funny. But yeah, Gonz, what did you think?
I mean, the thing is, it's like a plot. You almost can't even call this a plot because it's just a crazy night. It's just completely nuts. So when did you first see this, JB?
I saw this on the VCR in my parents' basement.
Okay.
Like when I guess when we were seniors, I guess.
You get like a free rental working at Errol's, like.
Oh yeah, you can rent as many as you want for free. So I went through all the movies, especially the new releases, and I knew that Bad Brains was in it. So we were all into Bad Brains back then.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
So and what did you think of? Like, you remember when you were that young age, that high school senior, were you like, this is crazy, or were you like, this is awesome?
I thought Rosanna Arquette was so beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That was kind of what lured me to it in the first place, also. And I loved him in Griffin Dunne in American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, yeah.
He's such a great actor. So
Mike, how about you? Before, I know you watched it. You said you'd never seen it, right?
Dude, I had never seen it. I had never heard of it. I think, and we'll get more into it, but I really think, I don't know, they should have fired the marketing team on this. I think this was an interesting movie, and I can't believe you and I had never even heard of it. We liked the trailer when we watched it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I have never seen or heard of it either, which surprised me. My first take, man, this is like if you take all their crazy drunken nights when they were high school, college, in the military, whatever they were growing up, and people get in these escapades and have these crazy stories they can tell. This is like that, but all of them in one night for one guy, right? And the kicker is this guy wasn't even drunk, right? So you understand how people have some alcohol, then they get into these situations, do stupid crap, right? But man, this guy wasn't even drinking. So for all this to happen, it's just nuts, man. Nuts. So okay, we're talking about the characters real quick going through here. But before I get into that, Mike, I want to say this. Remember when we did Breakfast Club? And just hold on, JB. I'm not coming after you on this. And I said John Bender is like a conglomeration of a bunch of my friends from high school. I'm saying one of those people is JB. So, and John Bender got in a lot of trouble. JB didn't get in a lot of trouble, but JB knew how to press buttons. Like if he decided he wanted to get under someone's skin, just like Bender does with, what's her name? Molly Ringwald. And he can say all the right things. He just knows just how to piss her off, just the buttons. JB was an expert at that. And he also, I think one of the reasons, not that he didn't do anything crazy like a lot of us did, but he was like an escape artist. So just wanted to put that out there for you, because I remember I'm thinking of one thing. I'm not going to say anything specific, JB, in one situation when there's a bunch of us friends. And I remember thinking, just in the middle of this, someone's really could get in some serious trouble here. And then I turned around, and JB, who had been sitting in the backseat of this car, we had stopped at a stop sign or a stoplight or something. And he had silently gotten out of the car and left. And I didn't even know. No one even knew that he got out of the car. And so therefore he spared himself from this just dangerous situation that some people got in some pretty big trouble for. So he's an
That's
escape
awesome.
artist and he knows the buttons to press. So, all right. So that's a little bit, since we're talking about characters, that's a little bit about JB's character. I'm sure he remembers what I'm talking about, probably.
Even has Bender's initials.
there,
That's funny.
there you go. So now, so Paul Hackett, our main character, played by Griffin Dunne. How do you think he did here, Mike?
Yeah, like JB said, I think he was perfect for this role. I loved his expressions and his reactions to everything. Like we're experiencing all this as it's happening to them. Uh, and he seemed, at least from the snapshot we get of him at work, he seemed like the kind of guy that life just kind of happens to him, at least up to that point. The other thing that stuck out to me about the character, in some situations, he was really forward and really snooping around people's private stuff and areas, after he just met them. Um, but the other thing I wanted to bring up, and like JB said, I remembered him from American Werewolf in London, but I'm thinking, I have seen him in something else. And I looked it up and I was like, I know what it was now. Uh, Not a whole lot of people have seen this movie, but he played Michael Keaton's brother in the gangster comedy Johnny Dangerously,
Oh,
also
jeez.
back in the 80s. And
That's
there's another movie we have to review at some point just from the title of it. 2014, he played in a movie called Fugly.
Fugly,
uh,
really?
hmm.
I've never seen
Yeah,
that
I don't
either.
I don't know that one at
I
all.
don't know what it is, but it was on his filmography.
All right,
Huh.
JB, what do you got on Griffin Dunne here?
Well, the character is just awesome. I love how he's like kind of like a computer nerd, and this is kind of like at the birth of computers, right? There's no cell phones in this movie. There's no technology. New York's so different back then, but his character is awesome because he goes out, he's going to try to meet this girl, and things start to get weird, and then he snaps in the scene where he's in the apartment with her,
Mhm.
because the joint that she gave him wasn't real. And that's when you start to see his character come out. That's when he starts to come out of his shell a little bit, and that's what triggers her suicide, right?
Yeah.
So that's what sets the whole thing in motion, and then you just see different sides of his character all throughout the movie, and that's
Mhm.
why it's so ironic that he just gets dropped off right back where he started in way
Yeah.
worse shape.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So like I think he does a real nice job as coming across as the normal guy, but like I said, coming across because really, man, he gets chippy out of nowhere, talking about
Yeah.
the weed, and then where the hell's the damn paperweights? Like suddenly you're like, what is this guy? He's Breaking Bad over here trying to start trouble. And I'm wondering,
Mhm.
is this just because he's having this type of weird night, or what? But I feel like he's holding this stuff inside, and part of that is his hellish job sitting every day 40 hours a week doing this stupid word processing job. That's what they called it like back then. um,
Yeah.
and maybe that's all bottled up inside of him, so he's really like not the normal guy he comes across as. I definitely liked him in American Werewolf in London. He was the buddy for everyone who doesn't know, who was like slowly um slowly falling apart and rotting, right, but decomposing
Mhm.
Yeah.
throughout the show.
It's funny about the jacket that he wears in the movie. The jacket at the beginning is like really nice, and then at the end, the jacket's like totally torn up. But when they were making the movie, he said that like when they were shooting scenes that took place later in the film, he had to wear this really gross jacket that smelled really bad and it was disgustingly dirty.
Mm.
So when you watch it the second time, you're thinking that it's just really funny to pick up on.
Yeah, it's crazy because I'm thinking about that, and I sort of, and I think I had this in my notes a little later, but I'll bring it up now. I sort of think about like the Blues Brothers, and like in the Blues Brothers, they keep getting blown up and everything. Carrie Fisher's trying to kill them, like the scene, they're all messed up, and then the next scene they're perfect. So I thought they were going to do that to Paul and make him just perfectly clean when he went back to work, but he wasn't. He went back and he was still a mess. So all right. So yeah, he did a pretty good job there. I think it was a good role for him. Moving on to Marcy Franklin, obviously one of JB's favorites, Rosanna Arquette. How do you think
Yeah.
she did here, man?
I thought she was great. I thought, well, first of all, she's so funny. Like the way she plays those scenes, especially when they're kissing in the hallway, and then she starts like crying,
Yeah.
and then but then it's really funny how she's got this like tattoo on her leg, and he sees a glimpse of it, and he thinks it's like scratches or something, and then
Yeah.
later on in the movie, he figures out that it's a tattoo and that the burn cream was for the tattoo. And he pulls the sheet back and she's just like perfect.
Yeah.
It's just so funny. But yeah, I thought she did a great job in that role. She's awesome.
All right. Mike, what do you got?
Yeah, no, I loved her. She was quirky. She was mysterious. She was disturbed. Um, and I don't know if JB agrees. Something about her character jumped out at me. It was a vibe similar to Mia Wallace, played by Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction, which Rosanna Arquette also starred in. But for some reason, just the way Uma had played that character, I got the same kind of vibe from.
All right. All right.
All
Yeah.
right, I forgot she was in Pulp Fiction. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other things that she was in? Big stuff?
God,
I know the name. Like you say that name, I'm like, oh, Rosanna Arquette, she's in here, and I
Well,
see her. But like, was she in some big? What was her like claim to fame?
the big one, and I don't know, I haven't seen it. Maybe y'all have. Desperately
yeah,
Seeking
the
Susan.
Madonna
Oh,
movie.
okay.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I know she
No.
was Susan in it.
Okay. Okay. All right. So,
Yeah,
um, yeah, she's the weird, sexy, mysterious girl. She does good, and like, it's like, I tell you though, someone with this type of personality, you're going through your meeting, the way she's acting, like the crying and the weirdness. This is like, dude, you got to stay away from this chick, man. That's what I'm
Mhm.
thinking. Like, as
right.
good looking as she is, it's just there's baggage like galore here, right?
Yeah,
So, um,
drama.
yeah, for sure. Moving on, moving on. So our Arquette did a pretty good job. She was looking hot as usual. Kiki Bridges, played by Linda Fiorentino,
Mhm.
who Mike, you told us we saw in Vision Quest. So what did you think about her character here?
Kiki is probably my favorite character.
Yeah.
Even though she's not the main character, she's totally comfortable in her own skin. Linda plays her, really flat and low key, but totally believable. Uh, and she tends to play characters where she has attitude and everything I've seen her in. I mean, we've seen her in this one now. I've seen her in Vision Quest, in Jade, and I love the interaction between Paul and Kiki because she's just low key manipulating the situation with him, and she's just in control. Yeah, I think she's one to watch.
There you go. There you go. What do you think,
Yeah.
JB? How'd she
Yeah,
do?
I really like her a lot. She's great. She's so flat in the movie,
Hmm.
and the whole thing with her and Horst. And I forgot that I can't remember the actor's name.
Will Patton.
Yeah, Will Patton. He's awesome.
Yeah.
That whole scene is hilarious. But she was in what is it, Men in Black?
Oh,
Oh,
She
that's
was
right.
that's right.
yeah, she was like the doctor or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was her. Geez, I
Yeah,
never put that together. All right. Yes. I mean, dude, I'm convinced she's playing herself. This, I feel like she's the same way in Vision Quest. She's in Vision
Hmm.
Quest, she's an aloof realist, but an artist, and she's like, yeah, whatever, I get it. She's like when she's meeting Loudon and she's just sort of blowing him off. She's like that too. I feel like this is like she would be if you actually met her. I don't know. I could be wrong there, but she did nice work, and I had no idea it was the first Men in Black she was in, or
I believe so.
was she also in the second one where she joined the team or something? Was that? Am
I
I
don't know.
remembering that?
I don't remember. She was in the second one.
I don't know. I don't know. So, all right, yeah. So she does good. I think she should have gotten a lot more roles, in my opinion, than she did back in the '80s there. So, but it's funny. I looked at this, uh, guys, and this was '85, and Vision Quest was '85. These movies are released the same year. I don't know when they were
Hmm.
filmed, but
That's right.
it's like right there. So, all right. So we'll move on to Julie. This is the waitress who like holds up a note and says like, "I hate my job" or something. Like this is Terry Garr. How do you think she did in this role? She looks sort of like JB, like her hairdo, like she could be in the B-52s, right?
Yeah, and I love when she takes him to her apartment and she puts on the monkeys.
Mm.
Hmm.
And then she follows it up with like Joni Mitchell or something.
Oh
But
man.
Terry Garr is obviously, one of the best actresses of that time. She was in like Mr. Mom, and she was in tons of movies. But
Yeah.
I thought she did a great job with the role, and I thought it was funny when she flipped out. She flipped out because he said something that she thought he was making fun of her, but he really wasn't, and it just blew up. And then there's really funny because she's like stuck in the past, and she has like drawings of like James Dean that she did on the wall, and then it's funny, and then it just devolves into the scene where she's giving him the plaster Paris bagel and cream cheese paperweight,
Yep.
and
Hmm.
Yep.
it just blows up. But yeah, I thought she did a great job. I thought it was really funny.
All right, Mike, what do you got? What do you got?
Yeah, she's got this artsy, eccentric vibe. The thing that sticks out to me when I think of her, I think of her scenes. I just picture those mouse traps around her bed and how
Yeah.
one of them goes off. Uh, that was funny. Like we said, this is a dark comedy. I hadn't seen her in a role like this before. Like JB said, she was in so many things back in the day, and she was always really watchable and everything. I mean, she was in Dumb and Dumber. She was in Mr. Mom as the wife.
Hmm.
And if you've seen Tootsie, and that's taken us way back. She was good in that. She
Yeah.
was, I think, Dustin Hoffman's girlfriend, if I remember correctly, or friend.
Is Tootsie like an 80s movie or is that even 70s?
It may even be
It's
early 70s.
Or maybe
Tootsie
late.
is 80s, pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of Terry Garr.
Yeah, that's 82.
Uh,
Okay.
I think she looks great as usual. I don't like this role because she's too damn weird, but she plays it well, clearly, because I'm like, man, this is another chick that you're like, you got
Uh-huh.
to stay away from this chick, right? As soon as you
Right.
get this vibe, just like Arquette's acting weird, it's like, is one of the messages here like, hey, man, be careful of women, or what are they trying to say? She plays it well though. It's a believable crazy. She was
Oh
in
yeah,
Mr. Mom. We did that. Young Frankenstein, loved her in that, and Close Encounters as she was Close Encounters as the wife.
that's right.
When he was like Richard, was that Richard Dreyfuss in it?
Yeah,
And when he's
yeah.
destroying the basement and building like throwing trash and dirt, and she just freaks out and leaves with the kids. So she did a great job. So seems like the next two people we have here, it makes me think of Home Alone, Mike. So Tom Shore, this is the bartender played by John Hurd. How do you think he did in this role?
Yeah, I was thinking about just exactly what you said. We've got the mom and the dad from Home Alone here. Uh, I liked him. He was key to the plot. When you look at this movie, it came out so early, kind of like I think of The Outsiders. It was really early in a lot of these people's careers, and you look at it now, it's like an all-star cast. And John Hurd is just another, all-star. When I watched him, I found myself thinking about everything that Marcy had been saying about her boyfriend, wondering if it was true, especially when we see how Tom just snaps and starts tearing up the cash register when it won't open. But no, good job, and just another interesting stopover in his trip through the night.
Yeah, there you go. What about you, JB? What do you think about John
Uh,
Hurd?
well, like I said, he was great in Chud too. He's a great actor, great character actor. But as far as the Tom Shore role, yeah, I think it's funny when he just like flips out and starts beating the cash register up, and
Hmm.
then when he finds out that it's his girlfriend that died, he's pounding on the cash register or on the bar. But it's just funny. That scene's especially funny because the look on Griffin Dunn's face, or Paul Hackett's face, when he realizes that it's the same girl that he
Hmm.
just But yeah, I thought he did great. He's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, he does a nice job here. This is interesting to me because it's like it's like everybody's got an edge. Like this is the nicest guy he met all night. This guy's like, oh, what? Oh, I'll give you
Yeah,
money for the subway or for a taxi or whatever, man, no problem.
ex-
And then he can't get it open. He goes crazy. He's like kicking the crap out of the cash register. So it's like everybody here, these good looking women have tons of baggage and they're weird. This very nice guy has the ability to go off like a just a firecracker, man. Sort of crazy, but he did good. I loved him kicking the cash register. Did just a great job there.
Hmm.
Okay, and that leads us to the woman who played his wife in Home Alone, Gail, played by Catherine O'Hara. JB, what do you think about her in this role? This was a different role for her.
Well, first of all, and may she rest in peace. She just passed away recently. I mean,
Yeah.
like within the past month, I think.
For sure,
Um,
yes.
she's so funny, and she's been in so many funny movies. And I thought the scene where he's trying to make the phone call, and she sits next to him and just starts saying numbers, like random numbers, so he can't remember the phone number, and that scene just totally unravels, and then she agrees to take him home in her ice cream truck because she drives a Mr. Softy ice cream truck. And so they're walking out to the ice cream truck, and this whole movie's about him trying to get home. So like there's so many scenes where he's just about to get there and then he just gets stopped. And so they're walking to her ice cream truck to get a ride home, and she sees the flyer that Terry Garr's character had made and pasted all over the neighborhood on the telephone poles of his face, that she drew a picture of his face when he was over at her apartment. And so she just flips out, and then she rallies with the mob to go after him. So she's rallying the mob with the Mr. Softy ice cream truck as like the mob vehicle. It's just brilliant.
Oh my God. Yeah. How'd you like her here, Mike?
Yeah, no, she played it great, and I keyed in on the same thing JB did. I found myself wondering because it was such a good scene. I thought, I wonder if she improvised that because it's funny. It seems organic, the way that was happening. I also love to see her this young in her career because she looked about the same age, just maybe a little bit older than when she played on SCTV. You'd heard me
Mm-hmm.
mention that before. It's like the Canadian version of Saturday Night Live. So this couldn't have been too far after that.
Yeah,
No.
that's like John Candy got his start there too, right? Isn't that
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, she's so weird, man.
Yeah. She worked with the best.
There you go.
Hmm.
She plays this well though, because I really don't like her. Like the way she is. Again, this is my pattern in this movie. Like
Hmm.
these women, like they seem nice, and then like right underneath, you're just gonna. It's like you press the wrong button, and you're huge trouble, man. It's
Uh-huh.
just crazy. So, but she did a great job at it because I really didn't like the character. I was like, man, another woman. You need to stay away from this woman. That's all I'm going to say. So, and again, for me, her whole career, like the big part that for me, I can't look at her without thinking about Home Alone. um so yeah, rest in peace to her because she had a great career there. So
Yeah.
um all right, so there's some other characters. I put some other characters of note. These aren't really main characters, but you know, they're people that they're part of the story, and you got to put them in, and some of them are pretty um you know pretty famous people who've got a background. So talking about this guy named Horst is the name. That's Kiki's boyfriend. So Linda Fiorentino's boyfriend, played by Will Patton. We already mentioned his name. What did you think about his role here, Mike? As small as it was.
Yeah, I almost didn't recognize Will Patton. He was so young. He didn't have a huge role. He was good. Didn't he say something about needing discipline? I mean, I think they were into S&M or S&N clubs. Uh, and at least he and Kiki looked like that. And of course, Jocko Willnick popped in my mind when he was talking about discipline.
Yeah.
So, probably took my mind somewhere other than where he was going. But this is the same guy that played General Bethlehem in The Postman,
Yep.
another movie that probably didn't get a lot of play. He played in Armageddon, and if y'all watch Yellowstone, I
Yeah.
remembered seeing him in Yellowstone.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you like him here, JB? You got any other
Uh,
movies that he was in?
I thought he was fantastic, and he did the movie No Way Out around the same time with Kevin Costner.
I
Okay.
forgot he was in that.
Yeah, and he was like Gene Hackman's aide, and he was like super corrupt, and he was a creepy guy in that movie too. So I think this is around the same time. These movies were both made around the same time, but I thought he did a great job. I mean, he had a really small role, but it was good.
Yeah,
It was really good.
it's yeah, small part, but I had to mention him just because of what he did. He did good here. I remember the Titans is a good one for him. I agree with you, Mike. The Postman, the character he plays there,
Hmm.
that is like some of his best acting. Like
Oh
you're like
yeah,
he can really act. The movie's a little bit strange, but I
sure.
mean the character he plays and how he pulls it off, that's great. Most recently, I just saw a great movie. I shared the trailer with you, I think, on a text, Mike.
Mhm.
called Train Dreams, which is a very highly awarded movie from 2025, and he's in it as the narrator. And I just knew from when I started, this whole film is narrated, and I was like, that sounds just like the guy, Will Patton. And sure enough, at the end, the credits roll, and Will Patton was the narrator. That movie
Mhm.
is great. So he does a good job in this small part. And so we're moving on to June. This is the lady who paper maches Paul near the end of the movie. This is played by Verna Bloom. So, JB, how do you think she did here?
I think she did great. You know, she was a famous actress. She was in the Clint Eastwood movie, High Plains Drifter.
Yep, yep.
She was in that. She's been in a. She was the dean's wife in Animal House,
Yes.
which is the one,
Yes.
the one that everyone knows her from. I
Mhm.
thought she did great. Her role in the movie was, this weird older lady who hangs out in the basement of this like punk rock bar in the middle of the night. And then she happens to do paper mache as well. Like that comes up again. I thought she did a great job as always.
All right, very good. Mike, what do you got for her?
Yeah, I remembered her like JB said. I remembered her from Animal House. I was waiting for her to say, "You still want to show me your cucumber?" or whatever she said back in the grocery store of Animal House. Uh, but I recognized her immediately. Uh, I was going to say something about the paper mache scene because I thought this movie was going to take a really dark turn when he got covered up, encased. Then she covered up the mouth. I thought, oh wow, I knew this was a dark comedy, but I didn't think he was going to make it back out of that. I thought that was going to be like the end of the movie.
All right, all right. Yeah, she it's a small part. I
Yeah.
got a couple things to mention here. She does nice work, small part. You talked about High Plains Drifter, Animal House. She was played Mary in The Last Temptation of Christ, which I
Right,
didn't
that's
know.
true.
Mhm.
But it's funny because I'm thinking when I'm watching it, oh, here's an older woman, right? And you all both mentioned, oh yeah, she plays the older woman, right? We automatically, all of us go there. Which here's the thing: I click on her, look her up a little bit. She was born in '38, so she's 47, younger than we
Mhm.
are now
Yeah.
during this movie, and we're sitting there saying, "Oh, the older
This
woman."
older lady.
That's right.
To me, that's just crazy because I did the math real quick. I said, wait a minute, she's younger than I am now. So I don't know
Mhm.
what I don't know. So and here we are calling her older. Shame on us, right? But she for 47, she looks good to me. Um, so she does a good job, and yeah, she's been in a lot of stuff. Her filmography, there's a lot of other things we didn't mention, but I mean, she's
Oh yeah.
just like JB said, she's famous. She's had a lot of work done. So all right, we're gonna move on, and we can do sort of these people together if you like. Pepe and Neil, played by
Mhm.
Cheech and Chong. Um, uh, Chong is Pepe and Cheech is Neil. Mike, how do you think they did?
Yeah, what can I say? It was Cheech and Chong kind of playing themselves,
Yeah,
maybe a little less high than their usual movies. You could almost call it a cameo, because back in the 80s, I'm sure everyone cheered when they figured out Cheech and Chong were in the movie. I think it was fun. I think it's definitely memorable because if you'd had any two other actors, I think playing those parts, we probably wouldn't hardly be able to remember who it was.
yeah. All right, all right. How'd you like him in this,
That's
JB?
true. I thought they were funny. I mean,
Yeah.
Cheech is always hilarious. And they were basically playing themselves almost, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
um, I just thought it's funny that their names were Neil and Pepe, and when he's screaming, chasing them down the street. Um, and also, the guy who played the cab driver was really good.
Yeah, yeah,
Larry Block, he was really good. All those guys, all the small little characters in this movie, all the people that they selected were just like perfect for the role, in my opinion.
yeah.
Yeah.
And for some of these small roles, you're wondering, is it because they're like, hey, this is Scorsese, and he's very well known, and so even an actor who could be considered a little bit famous, like will say, yeah, I'll take it. I'll take a 5 minute role in your movie because it's you. I don't
Mhm.
know. So,
It
um,
was cast really well. They did a really good job with casting, and they did a really good job with the soundtrack as
yeah,
well.
Mhm.
yeah. All the Cheech and Chong movies, of course, for these two. What I didn't know, Cheech Marin plays one of the hyenas voices in Lion King.
Yeah,
Had no clue about that. And
I
he
knew that.
actually showed himself to do some pretty good comedy, but like dramedy acting in the movie Tin Cup. He had a good role
Yeah.
in that.
Yep.
Yeah, he's talented. So yeah, they did good. And I think I agree with you, Mike. They come in here and they're playing themselves, right? So
Yeah.
um,
Another memorable role he had was, if y'all
yeah,
remember him from Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh yeah.
But
Yep.
if you remember that character, we can't even say any of his lines because we're a family show here, people.
there you go.
Correct.
All right. So we always do this. Talk about the favorite part or scene. What's your favorite part or scene in this, JB?
Like, I thought a lot about this because I have so many favorite scenes. But I guess the scene that kind of drew me into the movie in the first place is the Club Berlin scene from start to finish when the whole interaction with the doorman at Club Berlin is just hilarious. And then what happens once he gets inside is hilarious. The whole thing where they're going to force him to get a mohawk. I don't know if places ever even did anything like that. I remember when I was in junior high school. Did you go to Ridgeview, Steve?
Yeah.
At Ridgeview, that was the thing. Like when we were going in seventh grade, they're like, "Oh, they're going to give you a mohawk or something," and we were like, "What are you talking about?" So when I
Yeah.
saw that scene, I was always and also the Bad Brains are in that scene.
Yeah.
The song is
The,
in it.
yeah.
I just thought that's my favorite scene. It's just so hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. I went to Ridgeview in ninth grade. I was at Montgomery Village in seventh and eighth back then
Oh, okay.
in the day. So,
You
all
missed the
right,
fun stuff.
that's it. No one threatened me with a mohawk. The closest I've been to that is been to a restaurant, like in Texas. I was working, and it's a place where they actually would cut your tie off if you came in wearing a tie, like some steakhouse. Then they would nail
Mhm.
it up on the wall. They had all these ties here. So the thing is like, hey, you got to chill out when you come here, but no mohawk. So favorite part, favorite scene, Mike. What do you got?
I keyed in on exactly the same thing JB did, except it's even a smaller part for me. It seems so random in the big scheme of the movie, but definitely the scene where Paul is trying to get into the Club Berlin, the bouncer. Uh, he's my favorite secondary character. It's so bizarre, so surreal is the only way I can think of it because it's not like he's not trying to be intimidating, and there's like this underlying vibe that he's got this wisdom. He's like, I can't let you in at the moment. And he says, if you're so drawn to it, try to force your way in. But he doesn't say it like he's violent or like he's pissed off. And then the last thing he said, I'll take your money because I don't want you to feel that you left anything untried, but you keep the quarter. And I thought that's
So
for a
great.
secondary character. I just love that. I actually rewound and watched that a couple of times.
All right, all
Yeah.
right. Very good, very good. So yeah, for me, the toilet overflow scene in Tom's apartment, like on a night like this, what else could go wrong? And this
Of
is
course.
this is the nicest person that he's dealt with, the guy who's trying to help him out.
Exactly.
And then this happens, and he's just going to have to leave it, right? But and this is so funny because I have like a connection to this. When I was living in Italy, I was in the army. One of our buddies. Um, he got married too, and this guy was like a San Antonio skinhead guy. Came in, had all the tats. He was doing like a 3-year tour in the army or something, and he married this punk chick, and they got an apartment. And he was like, "Hey, you guys got to come over. We're gonna drink beer and do shots of Jägermeister, right?" So me and this guy, I'm not gonna say any names. Me and this guy, we're like both got to go to the bathroom. We're in this little apartment. They're trying to make their way their first apartment together, and we go in, and because we got to go to the bathroom so bad, we like both go in together, and we're just like gonna use the toilet right together, just like we got to go, man. We've had too much beer, and it we get in this thing when we're done and like start trying to wash our hands and fighting who's going to get the soap, and
Mhm.
then actually start wrestling and fall back and broke the toilet.
Oh, wow.
We broke it, like you can't use it. And the thing why I like this scene so much, because I thought of that time, because this
Mhm.
was their only bathroom in the house, in the apartment. So then we had to leave. This new wife's like, where are we going to go to the bathroom? They don't have a bathroom anymore.
Oh God.
So
Hmm.
needless to say, they never had us over again. But so love that scene because it's just like, oh, what else could go wrong? And I'll give an
Exactly.
honorable mention to the subway fare dodging. He
Oh,
jumps
that
right
was
over,
great.
and there's this
That was
huge,
great.
huge cop
Hmm.
right there. Like, oh, again, what else could go wrong?
Yeah,
Um,
it's funny when the guy says, well, first of all he needed was like 50 cents or something, right? And then he's like, come on, let me slide or whatever. And he's like, who would ever know? And he's like, well, I could go to a party and I could get drunk and start talking.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
yeah. And then I also had here the end scene. We talked about that very. And that's something, Mike. When we talked about the movie, we were talking about Carrie Fisher
Hmm.
in the Burbs.
Yeah,
That's another thing. I can't believe we didn't remember that during that recording. That like, yeah, Carrie Fisher was in the Blues Brothers.
that's true.
Yeah. So as I guess the girlfriend who's trying to kill John Belushi's character, right? So, which was
Another quick hitter in terms of scenes. And again, it was such a small scene.
yeah,
I love the fact you remember when he went into the restaurant, the little diner, whatever,
Oh
and
yeah.
the guy's like, "You can't stay in here," and he's like, "No, no, I'm gonna eat." And
yeah,
he goes to the lengths of ordering a burger and something else, like, "Hey, I'm just gonna go stick a quarter in the meter." Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
that was a good scene, but
and the
small
guy
scene.
when he gets back in there with Tom later, um, and the mob's outside looking for him. The guy, if you notice, brings up the burger, sets it down.
Mhm.
Like he's
Yeah.
been gone for like an hour. He
Yeah.
gets back there. The guy brings it like, yeah, here's the cheeseburger you ordered.
Uh-huh.
Right.
So
When he first goes in, remember the owner is like trying to get rid of this homeless guy who keeps coming in and out the door. Remember that?
yep, yep.
Yeah.
So the guy who played the homeless guy was like their lawyer, and the lawyer wanted to be in the movie, and they're like, all right, well, you can be the homeless guy.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
wow.
All
Yeah.
right. Cool,
Nice.
cool. All right. So not everything's perfect, right? Everything's got everyone's got a least favorite part or stupidest scene. What do you got, Mike, for this one?
Yeah. And I was just looking for something because I really enjoyed generally the whole movie because you accept it as quirky, surreal, goofy in part. So I was just looking for something that stuck out to me. And it probably was, we mentioned it a little bit already, but just how abruptly he left Marcy Franklin's apartment the first time. So all of a sudden, all of his attention went back to the paper mache paperweights just so he could go get Marcy to talk to Kiki. And he just wanted to sneak out of the apartment. Steve, you've heard me say before, young guys especially are emotional cowards. They can't just be like, "Hey, I'm leaving. I'm out of here." No, I've got to get you in there just so I can duck out. So it was a strange and unpredictable movie, but that kind of broke the tempo just there right in that moment for me. But I know it was part of it. We needed to get on with everything else that's going to happen over the course of the night. And I'm glad JB brought up again because I think I missed it. It wasn't a real joint because I was thinking maybe there was something in the weed because his mood just snapped.
Yeah, that's definitely the turning point for his character. That's like where his character like starts to come out, because up till
Yeah.
that moment, he's just kind of like the dude who's out trying to get laid, right? He's
Hmm.
like just going along with everything.
Yeah, go with the
He keeps
flow.
trying to hook it up with her, and she's kind of like not into it. So I think
Hmm.
like yeah, that's the part of the movie where yeah, the whole night is completely derailed at that moment, and of course everything that happens afterwards. Um, I really don't have I don't really have a least favorite scene. I really liked everything in this movie.
Okay.
But I'm a super fan, so
Oh, there you
Exactly.
go. There you go. So for me, and I think maybe it's a sign of the times, but like for me, the guys at Tom's bar just sitting there kissing in the background, and I'm like, I know that was very uncommon for them to put in a movie in like '85 probably, but like Scorsese, I don't know why he's telling a story. I feel like is he just trying to get a reaction out of me and say like I don't know. Is that just adding to the weirdness? I thought it was unnecessary. I thought the guy's lines were fine. They were like, hey, at least
Hmm.
you didn't kill her. I mean, those guys had a role to be there, but I don't know.
they
Hey,
did they did argue a little bit about having that in, and Scorsese really wanted it in because he felt like those guys represented the culture that was there at that time. So
it,
I think that was him trying to obviously, it's kind of like a little bit of shock value at the
Yeah.
time. Like
Yeah.
nowadays, that's like nothing. But
No, yeah.
Sure.
back then, it was maybe a little bit of shock value. But he wanted to do it because he wanted to include them as representing the community.
Yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense. I read it sort of as like, what are you, shock value? Like, show me the story. But I get it. It's funny. Some of the critics, like we talked about, Ebert gave it 4 stars. Gene Siskel actually said some of the characters took away from the grittiness of New York City. And as he was discussing like Terry Garr's and Catherine O'Hara's, like he was like, it's like, so they disagreed. He definitely didn't give it 4 out of 4 stars. I think he gave it like 2. So it's just interesting people's takes on those things. So, all right, additional comments on this movie, things we haven't discussed yet. I know this movie sort of, this plot's all over the place, so we couldn't have talked about everything. But Mike, what do you got here? Any additional comments?
Yeah. So JB probably already knows this, but I was sitting there, and as I was watching, especially the diner scene where he meets Patricia Arquette's character, or Rosanna Arquette's character, I thought that book probably has something to do with something. I said it's probably not random because I've never read anything by Henry Miller, but I know who he is. And so I looked up Tropic of Cancer, and apparently it's a semi-autobiographical novel about a man drifting through a chaotic, surreal nightlife in Paris.
Yeah.
And the themes of the book are aimlessness, sexual tension, absurd encounters, urban alienation. So I'd heard of the book before. I had never read it. In terms of the movie itself reminded me in a very broad way uh, of everything from The Wizard of Oz to the Odyssey. If you remember the Odyssey from back in school, and the Iliad and the Odyssey, where the hero is trying to get back home, and it's like he's on this journey, and he's running into all these strange characters, and he's just trying to get home, but he's got to overcome all these obstacles. And it's such an original movie. I would put it in the same class as Wild at Heart. If you've ever seen that movie, that's another cult classic where
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of people haven't seen it. But I love that movie, and it reminds me of this one in some ways.
Well, hey, well, so listen, read again what the Tropic of Cancer is about, the book.
Yeah, so The Tropic of Cancer, again by Henry Miller,
Yeah.
it said it was a semi-autobiographical novel, drifting through a chaotic, surreal nightlife in Paris.
Yeah, so this is just the same thing in New York.
Yeah,
Like,
and
that's
that's why I
why they have
keyed
that book
in.
there. That's the
Yeah.
symbolism of the book. If I feel like
Yeah.
that's what he's doing, drifting through with sexual tension and all.
Yeah.
He's just constantly getting in these situations. So, all right. So,
Uh,
what additional comments do you got, JB?
I like how when he's giving Kiki the massage and he's telling her the story about when he was got his tonsils out
Yeah.
when he was
Yeah.
a child, and that they had to put him in the adult burn ward.
Uh-huh.
And that's this underlying thing that's in the movie, this whole fear that Rosanna Arquette has these burns or
Yeah.
whatever because
Yeah.
of the burn cream and stuff. But that whole scene there where he's telling her the story, and you're just about to get to what happened in the burn ward, and she falls asleep.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I loved it. He
So
just knew he
funny.
had her sucked in. You even
Yeah,
saw that look on his face, like, all right, it's time to
yeah,
make the move. And
Yeah.
he's making the move on the roommate of the girl he came there to
yeah.
see.
It's so funny because like he's trying to be this like Casanova guy or something, but he's really just this total nerd.
Oh
He's
yeah.
a word processor. That's what he calls himself.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, and then the first thing she says again, this bad night when she comes in and Kiki's sleeping, she's like, "What did you do to her?" Like
Yeah, I know.
it
Hmm.
wasn't like, "Oh, is she asleep?" Or it was like, "What did you do to her?" And he's like, "Hey," well, he's already backpedaling, like, "Whoa, whoa," like he's got to
Yeah.
cover up for himself. So, all right,
And the
so
scene and the story about the husband saying "Surrender, Dorothy" and all that.
Hmm.
That whole scene in the cafe or whatever, or diner, I mean, that's hilarious. Just
yeah,
a hilarious
Yeah.
interaction.
there's a lot of crazy stuff in here. So Scorsese is the Club Berlin searchlight operator. I read
Hmm.
that when they
Yeah,
showed that guy up on the scaffolding with the lights.
yeah, it's his cameo.
JB already brought up Bad Brains on the soundtrack. A great band. I like their reggae just as much as their hardcore. Um, I don't know if you're familiar with them, Mike. Bad Brains.
No, I've heard of them.
Yeah,
I know there's like 4 years between us,
yeah,
so sometimes there's some music that
sure.
you may be dialed into that I'm not.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. And Griffin Dunne is one of the producers on this, so
Yeah.
I noticed that. So, but otherwise, all right. So, JB, we always say, and I know you said you listen to the podcast, so we always say if there's not a message or lesson or moral to the story, why are you watching it, right? So, what do you get from this story, man?
Oh God, so much. Well, first of all, God, watch you guys are adults watching this. The first time I saw this, I was like 18, 19.
Mhm.
Um, it, I guess the moral of the story is to, I don't know exactly what it is. I guess maybe not to do anything stupid
Okay.
because he always ends up, I mean, I just think it's funny, like the more he presses something that's not going to happen, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
Um,
All right. Well,
but
that's sort of a thing. Like that, then you don't push too hard and focus. Okay, I get it. I get it. That
It's
makes
just
sense.
it's just like a really entertaining one night of activities. It's just hilarious.
Yep, yep, yep. Mike, what do you got? Mike always comes through with something. Mike even came through with a moral that sounded plausible for Mr. Mom, which was incredible. I don't know. What do you got, Mike?
I don't know how exciting my takes are going to be on this one, but there were two themes that jumped out to me, and I think all three of us we've been young guys before, and I said definitely this is something we already know, we've already lived through, but there are no lengths that a dude will not go through to get laid during a certain time in his life, and we can. I know all three of us could tell stories
Oh
about,
yeah.
yeah, this happened, that happened. I went to this party I didn't really want to go to. I ended up in this situation. I don't know why I was there, but then when you think about it, yeah, I know why I was there. The other one, nothing good happens after 2 a.m.
That's right.
And I've heard that before, but yeah, and
I
nothing good happened in for him after a certain hour. It was probably what night did his night start at? Like 10,
it was like
12?
it was like 11:30, like
Okay.
Yeah.
11:35 or something when he looked at when she said come over, and there's a scene he looks at the phone, or he looks at the clock, the digital clock on the table, and I'm like, right there I'm telling myself, bro, it's too late, bro. It's too
Right.
late.
Yeah.
So I had the same things as you, Mike. Nothing good happens after, midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., take your pick. 2 a.m. is what we generally say around here, because that's when bars close here, right? So they say, hey,
Yeah.
bars closed, get home, right? Um, he should have never gone out that late, right? That's for me. He's got to work in the morning. Now we know why, and Mike, from what you're saying, it's funny. I was thinking the other day about this movie, and I didn't get a chance to talk to you about it, but I was thinking like, remember when it was a thing? There was a time in all of our lives when it was a thing, when like someone might be like, you hang out with your buddy and be like, hey, what'd you do this weekend? There's a time that you would actually say, got laid, bro, because that was like
It
your
was such an
goal.
outlier.
Yeah, that's like, oh, that's a thing. That's the thing that we're talking about. So don't go out too late to be. Nothing good happens after those late hours, which leads us to the same. I'm making a moral of the story out of what you're talking about, Mike.
Mhm.
Guys, young guys, don't bend over backwards to do anything just to get a girl in the sack,
That's true.
because you can get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
You can get yourself in a lot of trouble. And not only talking about getting a girl, pregnant, I'm talking about you can get in a lot of trouble, which happened to him. And lastly, for me, I'm not a big city guy. I know JB likes to kick around the city probably a lot more than me. And I'm not sure about you, Mike, but for me, I'm like, hey, stay out of the city. I used to have an uncle, and he lived in Beaumont, Texas, outside of Houston. And I remember hearing someone say, hey, when's the last time you went down to Houston? He was like, I ain't lost nothing in Houston.
Hmm.
Because he's like, if I didn't lose something down there, he said, I ain't got no reason to be there. So anyway, that's what I got. So
It's
uh,
crazy how different the city was back then. You know what I mean? Like I said earlier, like any of these movies that you guys have been doing, it's like there's no cell phones, there's no social media, there's
Hmm.
no massive flat screen TVs. I mean, it's like such a different time, you know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
More about life experience, getting out
Yeah,
there and
it's
just
way
being
more
in
like,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna ask you now, JB. Now that you watched it again in preparation for this, I'm assuming it probably had been a while since you'd seen it. Um,
Mhm.
uh, what's your take on it now? And would you
I still
recommend?
love it.
You
I
still
still
love it?
love it.
And
Absolutely.
so you're recommending, hey, watch this thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
It's a great movie.
Okay.
It's awesome.
All right. Very good. Michael, what do you got?
Yeah, like, and I've mentioned this throughout, but it's definitely a movie where you just have no idea where this movie is going to go next. It's surreal. There's a dreamlike vibe throughout the whole movie. I was genuinely expecting Paul to wake up at the end and have everything that happened just be a dream. And um, I don't know of any other movie. That's why I said I compared it to Wild at Heart. So many movies, especially these days, have been redone, remade, sequels within the first 15 minutes. You can tell what's going to happen by the end. But you're going to sit through it. With this, I never knew what was going to happen next, and that really had me sucked in. I love the originality. So many movies today don't have that. So I would definitely say if you haven't seen this before, it is worth a watch.
All right. All right. Yeah. I think this movie was all over the place. Like I said, a conglomeration of every crazy drunken story that you have, all happening in the same night, like just one after the other. And this guy, like I said, again, not even alcohol involved. So if you haven't seen it, I definitely think you need to watch it. There are definitely some funny scenes, a little bit overwhelming in spots for me in
Mhm.
terms of just the whole thing on it. So, but definitely, and like I watched this with my wife, and she's like, yeah, I want my money back. I was like, well, you didn't
Hey,
pay for
hey,
anything
hey,
for it.
tell me,
It's on Netflix.
It
Steve.
is on Netflix now. They
Yeah,
just put it on Netflix.
yeah, yeah. That's where I watched it because they just put it on there. So, all right,
Steve,
yeah.
tell me that your wife did not say,
No, she
was
did.
this one of Mike's
She said,
picks?
yeah. She said, who picked this movie? And I was like, I've never seen it before. I said, I said, but it wasn't Mike. She was like, it wasn't. And then I said, yeah, it was a friend of mine from back in the day in high school, JB. She said, what type of friend was he?
You're not trying to reconnect with him, are you?
He sang for my punk rock band.
That's right. That's right. So, all right. So we're gonna give it the rating. The rating for people who don't know, it's 5 tiers, right? So worst rating, bathroom break. You don't even need to be in a room. Below average movie, no snacks. Just sit, maybe scroll through your phone or read the Tropic of Cancer while the movie's playing. Not pay attention to it. An average movie, meaning, hey, it's an average movie. It's getting a passing grade here. Coke. If it's better than average, Coke and popcorn. And if it's like the bomb, Coke popcorn and a box of, I would say Raisinets, but everyone's got their own favorite movie candy. I know Mike is a Goobers guy, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
a Coke popcorn and a box of whatever candy you like. I used to be a Twizzler guy a little bit too, I would say, but definitely the Raisinets for me. So JB, you're the super fan. You're the
Yeah.
guest. You're going first. What's your rating?
Okay. Well, my thought is this. You can't compare a movie like this to like The Godfather or like
Okay.
Scarface or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So having said that, of its genre, of its class, you know, of this kind of movie, you know, it's obviously, you know, it's kind of an art house film, kind of, you know. I mean, it's Martin Scorsese, but it's definitely different for him. But as far as I'm concerned, I give it a Coke, popcorn, box of Milk Duds, whatever else.
Okay. All right. All right. He goes with the A+ score. What do you got, Michael?
Yeah. Now I know where JB is coming from because you've heard me talk about the movie Streets of Fire before. And I've said, if
It's
people watch that and don't like it, I completely get it. There's just something that hits with that movie for me.
I
So
thought Eddie and the Cruisers was your favorite, bro.
oh my goodness, that's a magical movie too. With this one, uh, like JB said, it doesn't hit me the same way that it does for JB. But I want to thank JB for recommending this to us. It is rare that we will find a movie from this time frame that we haven't seen before that's worth watching. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give it first of all, a bourbon and Coke, because I can't imagine how fun this movie would be to watch if you had a little bit of a buzz going too. And then I would say a handful of popcorn, maybe not a full box for me.
Okay. Okay. So very good. So it's funny. I just had this thought while you were talking, Mike. I was like, this is a little bit like, in a way, The Hangover to me.
Yeah, like a one-man hangover.
Yeah, like, but they got
without the hangover.
Right,
yeah,
without the alcohol.
yeah, they got roofied in The Hangover, and this guy doesn't have that happen to him. But who knows? You've got that theory, Mike, that maybe there was something in that. It's like a clove cigarette or something. Remember when
Right.
cool girls used to think they would smoke cloves? It was like terrible. It's like smoking mud, right? So, all right. So I'm going to give it a rating. Like I said, to me, you should watch it if you haven't seen it. It's got a lot of good people. It's got some funny scenes. I'm going to give it a Coke. If I'm sitting next to you and you offer me popcorn, I will have some.
Okay,
so
yeah.
So maybe like if a Coke is the average, that's a C. Maybe I give it a C plus.
Yeah.
Right? There we go. So
yeah,
right.
I could see myself watching this one again at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to do it alone because my wife was like, no, like
she's taking a firm stance.
She took a firm stance on it. So all right. So looks like we got that one wrapped up pretty good there, Mike. So we've got our ratings. JB went all the way. Mike went a little like above average. I was about average. So 3 different ones on that. And yeah, you're right, Mike. Huge thanks to JB for picking out a movie that neither of us have seen, right? That's very, very uncommon for 80s movies. So thanks for listening to Gonzo, Mike, and a VCR. Want to give a big thanks to JB for introducing us to this flick and for being on the podcast. We love having you on. What parting words do you have for us, JB?
It's my pleasure, Steve. It's so fun, man. If you ever want me on again, just let me know.
Yeah, well, if you come up with a movie that you're like, these dudes, right? So we've got a bunch of people waiting in line here. I think we're booked through like early April right now with guests who people are jumping on the show here. So listen, everybody, if you enjoyed it, please follow or subscribe. We'd appreciate it. We'd love you to share the show with someone you know who's a fellow movie lover or an 80s enthusiast. If there's a movie you'd like us to watch, or even if you're a super fan like JB, you want to be a guest. Or if you just have a comment or you just want to tell us what your favorite 80s activity was. I'm thinking for JB, that's skating, right? Skateboard. Was that your favorite 80s activity?
Probably.
Yeah, no, Mike, I got to tell a quick story here because there was a time that I wasn't a skateboard guy and I wasn't remember the BMX bikes guys who doing the tricks on the bikes. There's a time that we were somewhere. I don't know why we didn't have a car, but it was like a couple of buddies from JB's neighborhood, and we got on bikes. And then they were driving through this field or something. And then they were like, there's just one part you got to go real fast because there's these dogs. And these dogs will chase you.
Good.
And we went through here, and I'm like the least confident guy on this type of bike. Like I'm used to a 10 speed. And of course, I wrecked the bike. The dogs catch me basically. And we found out at that point that the dogs weren't going to actually bite, but they just bark a mean bark. So, so somehow, I don't know if you remember that, JB, but anyway, there you go. So yeah, if you want to tell us what that favorite 80s activity, what was yours, Mike?
2 things come to mind. I'm thinking of cruising around with your buddies, which I don't think is a thing anymore. And the other one, remember back when members only jackets were a thing, your buddies spike some soda, put some alcohol in it, put it on that inside pocket, sneak into the movies. And, maybe not age appropriate, but that was a fun thing to do in the early 80s.
Yeah, cruising makes me think of American Graffiti, right? They were cruising all night on that. So if you want to let us know about that activity, shoot us an email at gonzomikevcr@gmail.com. That's gonzomikevcr@gmail.com. I'll check that once daily for you, Michael. Additionally, feel free to leave us comments on whatever platform you're listening, Spotify, Apple. If you're on YouTube, give us some comments or some thumbs up. We'll respond to whatever we can there. We've got some polls on Spotify for these episodes, so let us know your thoughts. If you've got a friend, like I said, who loves movies, share the show with them so you can both listen and discuss, even if you disagree with us, right? So in our next episode, episode, This Is Crazy, Mike. We've got another super fan coming on, but we're not in the 80s. Now, we say 80s, 90s, and beyond, right?
That's
That's
right.
what we've always said. We're not in the 80s. This is a young person came to us, said, hey, I heard your show. I want to be on it. And this is someone who knows one of our past or guests, knows like very good friends with Kristen, who was on here for Back to the Future. She said, I got to be on the show. My favorite movie is from 2012. It's a comedy hit that I believe neither of us have seen before. I'm actually going to be a little bit disappointed in you if you tell me that you've seen this, Mike. Go ahead and tell them what it is, Mike.
Dude, we are going to be so out of our element, out of our depth. I think I had at least heard of this movie before because I think it was a cultural phenomenon with maybe a younger crowd. We're going to be talking about Pitch Perfect.
Oh, geez. I don't know if I'm ready for that. So, and just to let you know, like my wife hasn't seen that. I haven't seen it. She said, I've heard of it. So I pulled up the trailer, give her my phone, and she's like, I'm thinking, I watched the trailer. I'm like, oh, geez, I don't know if I could do this. And she's like, oh, I think this will be fun. So if that tells you anything about how she felt about Right After Hours, I don't know. She goes, this looks like it'll be fun. So anyway, there you go. All right. Well, folks, that's a wrap. I'm Gonzo.
I'm Mike.
Until next time, keep watching movies. Gonzo, Mike, and VCR is produced by Gonzo and Mike. All rights reserved.